Hey, Shalom family. Um, so just as promised, I'm gonna do my show today about autism awareness, and basically, I want to start by telling you guys my experience with my children. So at the age of 2, both of my children were both diagnosed with autism. How I found out was that both of them weren't they were not like the other kids. Like, they weren't talking and requesting for things like the other kids. They were doing a lot of tantrum, falling out on the floor, just banging their heads and stuff like that on the floor. Like, it was a lot of frustration when it came to communication because they didn't know how to verbalize what they wanted. So the daycares let me know that I should get them evaluated. So I did, and it turned out that they had the low spectrum of autism. And there are different levels of autism. And when they say your child is on the spectrum, which means that they're not severely autistic. Severely autistic can be Asperger's, can be all different types. If you look on Google, they have the exact terms of different types of autism, and they have different definitions on what those autisms are and how your child reacts. So this is how you really know your child is autistic. If you have a young child, that's 1 going on to 2. So like I said, my children were not verbalizing their needs. Whenever it came time to try to verbalize their needs and you don't understand them, they get very frustrated. And when they don't understand you as well, they throw tantrums. And the tantrums can be, falling out on the floor, banging their head on the floor. A lot of children don't like loud sounds. A lot of autistic kids are texture programmed, meaning they don't like certain textures, and certain textures they do, and that could be with food, Play-Doh, sand, hard surfaces, soft surfaces, whatever. They also have a lot of different soothing techniques. Like my daughter, she loves soft blankets and teddy bears and soft pillows, where my son likes scratchy things like sandpaper, and he likes sponges, the female sponges, because the texture feels funny. He likes more of a rough texture, where my daughter likes soft textures. Also with food, my son does not eat lettuce. He doesn't like salads. He doesn't like real healthy stuff. He likes a lot of junk food, and honestly, that's a craving with autism as well. Autism, the brain craves things that are not healthy for the child. Where my daughter, she is a junk food baby as well. They will eat snacks all day if I allow them. And they'll eat that over having a real meal. Sugar is one of the highest things that they fiend for, but all that it's doing is it's keeping their brain built with mucus. And that's basically what autism is. Autism is mucus in the brain. It's metal, built up and stuff like that. It's all different types of chemical imbalance. And if you have certain high fructose corn syrup that is in juices and go-gurts, yogurts, that will continue to build up mucus. Also, like I said, candies are bad. Just junk food, period. If you continue to allow your child to eat junk food all the time, just even you really because all kids like a little snack every now and then, but try to replace that with crackers and cheese. And they can have a bag of chips, but make sure that they're minimized on that. You know what I'm saying? You don't want your child to continue to eat unhealthy things. And I'm going to tell you right now, pork and seafood are not very good for your child. Now, whiting fish is real fish. That is good for everybody. But eating any type of pork, eating shrimp, lobster, and crab, those are bottom feeders. So what happens is those animals or mammals, they are made to clean the earth. So basically their insides are very dirty. So like a crab and a lobster and the shrimps are at the bottom of the sea, right? So everything that like the fish and the sharks, when they poop and stuff like that, the shrimps eat that. They eat that to clean the ocean. And the pigs, they eat, like, you know how like pigs eat nasty garbage and stuff like that off the ground. They are made to do that. So their insides are very disgusting. And I don't care how many people tell you, oh, well, the warehouses, they clean that stuff out. No, they can't clean out what's in the veins of an animal. Like, they can probably clean out the colon or whatever, but you got to think about the bloodstream of an animal, okay? Like the veins of an animal, okay? That's still built inside the muscle tissue that we're eating. The muscles, the all of that dirty disgustingness. If you don't have an animal that eats grass and eats nutritious stuff, you're gonna most likely get sick over time. Even us regular people that I don't like to say regular because I believe autistic children are regular too, but even as adults, you know, if you didn't notice, people that stop eating as much pork and seafood, they don't get sick as often. And that's very true. It's because the pork and the seafood aren't made for us to eat. So if you continue to feed your child that, you're going to notice that your child is always sick with the cold, flu, allergy symptoms, just, you know, is more prone to sickness. You're also going to notice that the development doesn't change. I noticed that when I stop my children from eating certain things and I literally put my kids on a low sugar diet. Well, my son's on a low sugar diet, but my daughter's on a sugar-free diet. Why? Because my daughter's autism and her chemical imbalance allows her to not build up enamel in her teeth as a normal person. So the sugar buildup that she'll have will break her teeth down fast, really fast. And of course, I use Pronamel toothpaste. Pronamel toothpaste, what is it, Sensodyne. I use that to help rebuild, and it works wonders. I also let her use mouthwash. Her teeth are getting better by the day. So if your child is prone to cavities, I would definitely make sure that they have Pronamel toothpaste. Also, like, you know, all of these things, if you have like foods that have soybean oil, you want to be careful with that, because soybean oil, it actually, what it does is it reverses the hormone in your child. So if you give soybean or anything that has soybean oil in your son, he'll be more feminine. And if you give soybean oil to your daughter, she'll be more masculine. So that's another reason why we have a lot more people that are talking about they're born to be gay, because their hormones are starting to reflect and they're starting to become the opposite sex through the foods that they eat. Not only that, you got to be careful at these grocery stores, because a lot of the times the chicken breasts and the chicken thighs and the chicken, like sometimes the chicken drums, they're shot up with hormones. So what happens is, if you notice that well, you won't notice because I don't expose my daughter, but my daughter is 5 years old and she actually has hair on her private, and she's growing hairy legs, and she's only 5 years old. Mind you, I have to put deodorant on her under her arms, because she has an odor as if she was 9 years old, you know, and she's like 4 years before her time. And that's because they shoot up these chemicals with, they shoot up these the chicken breasts and stuff with chemicals. Now, what type of chicken is healthy for your child is the chicken wings. Why? Because they're too small to shoot up hormones. So you don't want to feed them too much of like boneless chicken breasts, and like you don't want to feed them that because there are chemicals in there. Also, you want to chill out on the red meats, especially in the grocery stores. I do advise you to go get your red meats. If you are a red meat eater, I prefer you to get your red meats from like the Arabs, because their meat doesn't have any chemicals in it. They actually are prone on no pork and no chemicals and stuff like that, no hormones, because that's they're Muslim, so their food is more pure. So you will not see them like, even if they have ribs, they have beef ribs, they don't have pork ribs. If you see them having salami, everything is beef, nothing is pork. They do not eat that stuff, so they're not going to sell it. It's against their religion. So if you want to stay pork free, your best bet is when you go grocery shopping, go to the Arab corner stores that sell meat. And their meat is, trust me, it cooks better, it tastes better, everything. Also, fruit. Fruit is very dangerous at the grocery stores, because now they're starting to chemically make fruit, like man-made fruit. It's not coming out of the ground anymore. If you go on YouTube, you can actually search man-made foods, and they will show you how they man-make food, and it's really disgusting because it's like a bunch of liquid stuff that they're just making, and it looks like a fruit, it tastes like a fruit, but it's not a fruit. Basically, any fruit that does not have a seed is not a real fruit. That seedless grape crap, that's not real. That is like some disgusting chemical that they put together to make it look like a fruit. I'm serious. And technology is so great these days that they can do that stuff. So don't think that they're not doing it, because they can. Technology just gets better and better over time. We're in 2019 now. You think that they're not making fake food? Of course they're making fake food. So you want to be careful with that. How do you make sure you get good foods? Okay, foods that are high priced in the grocery store are the nutritious food. Like anything in the organic section happens to be more pricey than cheaper food. Like everybody wants to bargain shop, and like, oh, I can get this for I could get 5 cans for $5, or I can get 10 cans for $10. Those are not really good things that you should feed your children. Like, you should feed them more fresh things, fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, frozen fruits, frozen vegetables, stuff like that. You don't want to really feed them too much canned stuff unless your finances does not allow you to. And in that case, what I would do is only get canned vegetables. Okay, do not get anything else canned but vegetables. And you want to make sure that when you take it out of the can, you rinse them off really well before you even cook them. And make sure you cook them longer than what you normally would cook, because you want to kill whatever bacteria and stuff like that. And always make sure you pray over your food too, because God does protect you and your children from certain chemicals or whatever in the food that can harm you. And that's only if you're spiritual. If you're not spiritual and you don't believe, because I don't like to talk about religion because I'm not religious. I am a Hebrew Jew. I'm an Israelite, and we go off of culture because I'm black. I'm a real Jew. I'm a Hebrew. They want me to believe I'm African American, but I'm not. I'm a Hebrew. So at the end of the day, Hebrew is a culture. It is not a religion. And that's why I don't like to base things on religion, because religion is very deceiving and manipulating. So, that's for another day, another topic for another day. But yes, back to the food. So if you want to try to find where these foods are, you'll most likely find them in, like, if you live upstate, what is it called? Honest Weights, Healthy Co-op, what is it? I think in Westchester they have Oddlies or something like that, or some I think it's Oddlies or some Oddies. I think, I don't know. I have to ask my sister again, because she actually gets a lot of natural stuff. And yeah, you just have to find, or you can Google it. You can Google organic grocery store. You know what I'm saying? A lot of farmers markets are great. But like I said, everything's a little tiny bit more pricey. Asian markets, African markets, these corner stores that you see on the street. when they selling their fresh fruits and stuff like that, those come off of real farms. Now the real grapes are like this big, okay, and they have seeds in it. Those are real grapes, okay. Apples that have seeds in it, pears that have seeds in it, and even oranges, because all oranges are supposed to have seeds in it. If it does not have a seed in it, it is not real. Bananas that come from a organic store, they rot faster than grocery store bought bananas. But how you keep them fresh is you always have to keep like a plastic wrapping on the stem of the banana, because that's what's rotting your banana, the stem of the banana. So if you want to keep your banana longer, make sure that you wrap it. But like I said, you don't want to get any fruit from the grocery store because it's not real. You don't want to get any lettuce heads or anything like that, because they're liquidizing lettuce heads and they're turning them into a lettuce head, and it's really disgusting, like I'm telling you. You also want to be careful with the beef that the grocery stores have, because they're mixing all different type of stuff in beef and calling it beef. Like the ground beef, you got to be careful with that. Sausages, you got to be careful with that. Hot dogs, definitely hot dogs. You want to be careful with hot dogs. That's why I said go to the Arabs to get your meat, because everything is a little bit more pure and everything is a little bit more what it says on the brand is what it is. Like, period. And another thing is, look at the ingredients on the back of everything you buy, okay? And look at what it says. If you cannot pronounce it, you probably shouldn't eat it. Like, you probably shouldn't have it in your body. And that's another thing. So, what is the cause of autism? The cause of autism, whether people want to believe it or not, is immunizations, okay? At one point in time, back in the 70s back from the 70s to the 90s, immunizations were a lot safer to take, because we seem to not have as many problems. But nowadays, like I said, that damn technology is getting better. And, you think these scientists don't work every day to try to make, new chemicals and stuff. They're not going to tell you this. It's their little secret, okay? So this is what's happening. They are re-chemicalizing. Why do you think, okay, let's just go through the flu shot, for instance. Why do you think there are so many more people dying from the flu shot? Why do you think that? If it was safe for you, you wouldn't die from it. And then they're still advertising the flu shot after all of these infants. Remember that big flu outbreak they had one year? And everybody was getting the flu, and then little babies were dying, people were dying, all this other stuff. And then the following year, it just seemed like less people were dying. That's because they're running tests on these flu shots to try to kill people off. And really what they want to do is they want to kill us black people. That's what these are for. But they will risk their own kind, which is white people, just to get us. They will have white people. And mind you, this is now no offense to anybody that's white, no offense to anybody that's black. I'm not racist. I'm just calling it exactly what it is, because I've done my studies, I've done my research, and us as Jews and Hebrews, we find out exactly what's going on, because we actually have delivered our children from autism. My children are definitely coming out of their autism break as we speak. Like, I make it evident, okay? So anyway, like I said, these immunizations you got to be careful with. I have had actually one of my friends that I just recently connected with, she told me that she had to stop the immunizations because when she did, she noticed that her child was acting different, and her child is about 2 years old now. You feel what I'm saying? And once she stopped it, her child started acting like her normal self again. This is a fact. Now, people might say this is opinion because their children wasn't affected, but I'm going to tell you why their children wasn't affected. Because the immunizations will affect a certain DNA. Okay? It's made to affect a certain DNA. So if your DNA is not affected by the immunizations, it's not meant to affect your DNA. You know what I'm saying? It affected both of my kids, so you can't tell me that it's not real. Now, I am actually doing an experiment on my own child, and I'm going to do everything natural, meaning I don't do prenatal pills. And if I do prenatal pills, it's going to be organic, which means it's going to be completely natural. And I want to have my child in a birthing center where I'm pushing naturally, because I want to make sure that they can't force me to do immunizations. If you have a natural birth, you don't have to get forced to do that. But New York State is trying to make it so that nobody can get exempt from immunizations, and they're doing that for a reason. Okay, they're trying to say, oh, we just want your child to be protected from viruses. What viruses? When was the last time you had anybody get affected from rubella? When was the last time you had anybody get affected from polio? When was the last time you had anybody really like just out here have a full blown out flu, unless they had HIV or AIDS, or the flu shot? The flu shot is actually getting people sick. So it's like, I don't understand what they're actually trying to protect us from. But I'm telling you, it is a secret mission to kill off the black population, because in reality, black people, Hispanics, and Native Americans and Hawaiians are the chosen, that we're the chosen people. We are the children of Israel. And because we're God's people, they are very vindictive of what they want to do. Like they're Satan's people. The government and the state, they are like, they are very dark, and they worship their God, which is Lucifer, Satan. Okay. And then we worship our God. Now they try to say that, oh, this is just, all of this is just, a conspiracy, people just are lying, this and that, third. But you got to like really understand what's going on. Why are so many people drug addicted? Why are drugs even in America if they're trying to fight off the war? You got to remember, the CIA, they're the ones that brought these drugs in. They did it for a reason. They want to kill and get our people in prison, because they know that our people are more likely to be in poverty. So they are doing a lot of stuff to try to kill us off and try to imprison us and put slavery back in, because they know that they can't enslave us just because. So now they get us to break laws in order to have us in prison and enslave us that way. And why do you think that Albany County Jail has a homeless shelter now? Because they can't even fill up their jails anymore. Too many people are getting their lives right, and too many people are waking up. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, back to the autism topic. Like I said, if you can, try not to get these new immunizations that they try to tell you need. If your child has to go to a school where you see that they had their basic immunizations, rubella, polio, and stuff like that, like the mandatory ones, if they had those, and now you got a school that's trying to get them into more, or get them to have different immunizations that they don't need, trust me, it's not a school that you want your child to go to. If you really, really believe in the immunization system, then do it, but you're not going to see any progress in your child. I'm just letting you know. I'm going to keep it real. Actually, God had removed my child out of Sheridan Prep Elementary because they, at his age right now, he's about to be 7 this month, they would have had him try to take new immunizations that he does not need, trying to say, oh, it protects the children from this. But guess what? My child was still getting sick from other children. My child was still getting stomach viruses and all this other stuff that floats in the air. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it doesn't really protect you from, if your child's going to get sick, your child's going to get sick, because there's all children that from all different walks of life that eat unhealthy things because their parents eat unhealthy things, and their parents just like don't care about their health. So guess what? These kids are getting sick, and they're sending their kids to school. They know that their kid is waking up sick with sniffles and all that. They don't care. And I need you parents to start caring, because our kids that we actually do care about are being affected by you careless parents that don't care about your kid enough not to make sure that your kid doesn't go to school and get our kids sick. But, we can't really control that, because at the end of the day, it's like, who are you to tell me what to do with my kid? Well, who are you to not care about your kid and bring your kid and have your kid go to school and get my kid sick? And now I got to stop what I'm doing or leave work or whatever just to go get my son or my daughter because they're throwing up in school because your child is sick and throwing up around everybody. Like, it's not right. Start showing that you care a little bit more. You guys want to try to act like you're good parents, but you're neglecting their needs is not good. That's not good. So I'm just letting you know. Um, I do advise getting a first aid kit and checking your children's temperature on a regular basis. Making sure your children get herbal care instead of a lot of medicines. I mean, if you can't help but to, use like children's Tylenol and stuff like that, that's cool, but there's spirits built into that. And you know, it's medication is not good for anybody, really. You know what I'm saying? People are getting sick from medication because, as you know, medication has what? Side effects. And if these medications are really supposed to help you, why do they have side effects? Right? Because what happens is a lot of people, like, matter of fact, bipolar. Let's talk about that. They'll put you on medication for bipolar or depression or whatever, and you take the medication and people get off of it because guess what? They get suicidal thoughts. Why are they getting suicidal thoughts? Because there are demons prayed into this stuff while they're making it. There are devil worshipers that do pray, and demons are real just as much as angels and God is real. Satan and demons are real. And they get prayed into this stuff, and then people are having these little suicidal thoughts, and they're having like little paranoia thoughts, and their depression seems to be increasing. And guess what? People want to increase the dosage of the medicine instead of decreasing the dosage to try to decrease the problem. They're increasing the problem. These doctors, you guys want to trust these doctors, but guess what? They're part of a program system to help manipulate you. And even though the doctors may seem innocent and they don't know this, oh, that's not true. That's not true. They don't even know this. Trust me. You can't go to your doctor expecting them to know the answers of what you have. You have to go on YouTube, and I do encourage people to look up GOCC, Gathering of Christ Church. And it's not about religion, guys. It's about education. Even if you're not there for the spiritual part, get the education that they're teaching you, because they teach you about these things. They teach you about the government system. They teach you about the school system. They teach you about exactly what's going on, so you have a bigger and better knowledge. Everybody wants to think, oh, I don't go to church. I don't go to church either. I don't. Not a Christian church. Not a Baptist church, not a metropolitan church. I don't go to none of that. I am not a Christian, so I don't do anything Christian. I am a follower of Christ, so my church is like law school. It's like a law class where we go to Exodus 20, we read the laws and we follow them. And not only that, it's like going to school again. It's like especially it's really for us people of color that don't know our background, and we want more answers other than why is our background always based on slavery and segregation, and why is it that, like, it answers all the questions on why it seemed like in our past white people hated us so much. It answers the questions, I'm telling you. And if you go on YouTube and you look up GOCC fornication, GOCC government system, GOCC drugs and demons or immunizations, and you just see a whole lot of different videos. Okay, now I'm telling you to go GOCCs because we operate in love. We do not operate in hate. There's a lot of other Israelite camps that will talk bad on white people. We don't hate white people, and we don't want anybody to hate any other race. We don't want that. We just want to teach you what's the real facts, what they're doing, and why. So, I encourage to do that or whatever. But like I said, back on the autism topic, if you want to help your child outgrow the autism, brain stimulation is key. So I'm going to give you like a little walk around my house to show you how I stimulate my children's brains. Okay, so let me show you. I make sure that their pictures are up from school. Okay, this is their room, and I make sure that their pictures are up. I show them like a little picture of their their life. You know what I mean? Just give them brain stimulation all around the house. Also, I do it in my living room. I have a whole lot in my living room. So this is my living room, and brain stimulation. This gives them a reminder of what their life is like. You know, what if they've learned, you know, just everything, you know what I mean? That is a big help. That helped my children a lot, especially stuff like this. You see this? This is a turkey with my daughter's name on it, and it helped her be able to spell her own name. And, you know, stuff like this, you know, I showed them the school pictures and stuff like that. So, you know, basically, that's a big help. Also, I want to show you guys what I do, because a lot of times children are so wrapped up in electronics, like, excuse me, sorry about that. A lot of times children are so wrapped up in electronics, right? So like, say that they go to school and they're bad and they're just not focused and they're not listening to teachers, this and that. So what I do is I ground them. I take away the phones, no TV, and you know what I do? I'm going to show you. I have this right here. Color pencils, markers, all that other stuff, and guess what? Paper. And I make them color. And books. That's another thing I want to show you. Books. I make them read. Yep. And I make them sit in this room, and they can't even touch their toys. Because you don't always have to hit a child to get them to listen to you, you know? Also, I have like alphabetical stuff, like metal things for the refrigerator, and I make them spell out things, you know? So I keep them brain stimulated like that. You gotta, like, it's like being in school. You gotta make sure like they're at school, like even when they're home. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it's like you gotta make sure that your child continues to learn, even at home. So discipline on your child, right? You don't want to be passive, okay? You don't want to be passive. You don't want to be like, oh, they're autistic. You don't want to give them a reason to have that as a crutch. My biggest theory on making sure your child is independent, you have to be stern with them. Okay, and you have to treat them like you would treat any other child. Don't baby your child. Don't do that. Don't be like, oh, sweetie, this and that. And don't do that. Do not do that. You be stern. So in order to not seem threatening, you will sit down to make sure you're at your child's eye level. You stand in front of them like, this is what I do with my child. Okay. Now, if my child is acting out, yes, I do pop them, because you know what? I'm tired of just you acting out. You're just doing too much now. You know what you're doing. You're not, you know, because autistic children are not stupid. Okay. They're actually geniuses. They're brilliant. Both of my children can figure out electronics better than I can. They can do things like I get amazed all the time at stuff that they can do. The only thing is communication. They only have an issue with communicating. That's it. Their brain works fine, but they have a problem communicating what's in their brain. So you're there to help them, right? So this is what I do when I'm disciplining my children, okay? I sit down, I get them at eye level, and I slowly talk to them. Like for instance, I'll be like, Nyrese, I talk at their level. It might sound like I'm talking retarded, but I have to talk at their level. So I'll be like, Reese, why you no do good in school? Why you no do good? What's wrong? Why you do bad? Why you no listen to teacher? Like, I talk to him like that because that's how he talks to me. You know what I'm saying? And if he's not understanding, I'm like, why you no listen to teacher? Why you run away from teacher? That's no good. No good. You don't do that. You don't run away from teacher. It's not safe. And I'll be like, Nayera, you know green today? Like, so that's basically what happened. My daughter had all green except for one. She didn't want to participate in speech for whatever reason, and she was on the bus acting crazy. So I said, oh no, Nai, that's no good. You get red today? What mommy told you? No red, all green. Green is good. Red is bad. Now at my son's school, he gets a thumbs up or a thumbs down if he's bad or good. And I'm like, no, Nyrese, you have 5 thumbs down. No good. No good. Mommy is not happy. You don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Now, it sounds like I'm talking crazy, right? Sounds like I'm like, why is she gonna talk like? I talk like that because you gotta talk at their level in order for them to understand you. Okay? You have to talk like a child in order for them to understand at a child's level, because you got to understand, with a child that's autistic, they're going to stay pure more longer than an average child. So what they're going to do is you got to always stay at their level. Okay? You can't talk like how I'm talking to you on the screen and think that they're going to understand you, especially a chick like me that's like a New York chick and I talk a mile a minute. I have to slow things down so that they understand me. Now, when you ground your kids and you take things from them and you make them sit in that room bored, oh, trust me, they're going to try to make it better tomorrow. And don't give them their favorite snacks. Do not. If they are acting out and they're being bad and they're like, oh, I want something from the store, don't just give them what they want because you think that that's just going to take care of the situation. No, you don't. You say, no, you're being bad, and you let them know why. You like, I'm not giving you chips. I'm not giving you ice cream because you were bad in school, or listen to mommy. So get no snack. No. You can have this carrot. You can have some salad. You give them something that they don't like. You want to know why? Because that'll make them want to behave for the things that they want. It's like bribing your kid, but it works. Trust me, it works. You're talking about a woman that had autistic children for almost 7 years now. And I have had to learn. I'm 29 years old. I had my first when I was 21, going on 22. And I didn't know what to do. I was so stressed out. I'm like, oh my God, I don't know how to communicate with them. They don't understand me, this and that, third. But I had to learn, and I had to take my time. I had to understand I have special kids, and I had to deal with them in a special way. And it made parenting for me a lot easier to deal with. So I hope that this video was helping you, and if you need any more information, you can comment below. I will send you more videos of more knowledge to back up what I'm saying to you, so that you understand exactly how to raise your child with autism and be able to help them overcome it, because my children are overcoming it. They're communicating better. They're actually starting to speak in sentences, especially with, I make sure that they drink a lot of water, filtered water, not tap water, filtered water. And if you do not have a sink filter or something like that, when you do use tap water, put it in the freezer. It kills all the bacteria and stuff that's in there, or boil. You can also boil your water and freeze it after. That works too, because that works as a filter. So make sure that you give them filtered water, okay? You want to make sure that the water that they're drinking is pure, and they have to have more water and more water food products than anything, because what that does is it helps wash out all of that mucus and all that stuff that's in their brain. That's what you want. You want to make water so important that they start asking you for water. And that's how my kids are. They'll be like, Mommy, I'll have like a whole fridge of 100% juice. Oh, and that's another thing. 100% juices, only, no concentrate, no artificial flavors, okay? It's okay every now and then. Well, because I only say it's okay every now and then because I do it. I every now and then when I'm running low on juice, I'll get them some Kool-Aid. But trust me, even that, they'll only have it at mealtime, because in between is water. Because I want whatever they had during the meal times, I want to make sure that whatever they wasn't supposed to eat was washed out of them. And that's what the water does. It washes your system out. It keeps you free from toxics and stuff like that. Do not smoke around your kids. Don't even smoke in your house. That's another thing I would advise. If you do smoke in your house, please open up a window and smoke outside your window, because that smoke is just, it's another mucus builder upper in the brain. And secondhand smoke is dangerous, and I don't care what the situation is. Don't let your room be clouded with smoke. Don't let your bathroom be clouded with smoke. I don't care if you send them out of the room and then all of a sudden they come in. And if you guys are pot smokers, weed smokers, please do not smoke the pot around your child, because no matter what you say, oh, weed doesn't hurt them, this and that. Please, weed, everybody knows that weed is a brain stimulator, right? So it slows things down in your brain. If your child catches contact because your room is all baked out and your room and once you're done smoking, you put out that clip, you think it's okay for your child to come back in. Trust me, your child's inhaling all of that. And if it's a brain stimulator for you, then what do you think is going to do to your child? They're going to get that they're going to catch contact, and then guess what? Their brain function slows down. So it actually does affect the child. That's why they tell you don't do no drugs or anything like while you're pregnant and stuff like that, because while the brain is developing, the brain process slows down. So you don't want that either. And at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you just keep your home free of all bad influence, because an autistic child will get more confused when you're trying to teach them one thing and then there's other people with other different ways teaching them different things. It's very confusing for a child, period, but especially for autistic children. I'm going to give a prime example. I had a few homosexuals around my kid that were cross-dressers, and my son thought it was okay to wear heels because we all were wearing heels and we were all wearing makeup, and my son started thinking it was okay. No. If you want your child, first of all children are born pure. All children are born to like the opposite sex, but they don't like it at that moment. Like my son's only 7 years old. He's autistic. He doesn't even know anything about liking a girl. He doesn't know anything about sexual hormones or anything like that. They're taught this. People get it all mixed up talking about they were born gay. They're not born gay. They're taught being gay, because it's about your surroundings. It's about what people allow. If you're already gay and you have a homosexual lifestyle, okay, cool. But don't influence your child to be that way. You allow your child to be the way that they want to be. Don't make them think that just because you're like that, they can be like that too. No, that's your choice. You decided to be a homosexual. You decided to be bisexual or whatever it is. Do not have that influence around your child. So if you have a homosexual life and stuff like that and you're raising a child, my advice to you is to keep your sexual life private from children. And that goes for a heterosexual couple too. Keep that stuff away from children. They do not need to know about sex at a young age. They should be the child to be like, ew, ew. You know? Like, because children, even when they see their mommy and daddy kissing, they be like, ew. Keep them pure like that, because they should not even be they should be pure. They should be thinking about playing outside and playing with toys. They should not think about sex at a young age. Don't endure that on them. Also having, I'm not against transsexuals. I'm not against cross-dressers, but I do feel like it's an influence on the environment. And it confuses a child, and it starts having children ask about their identity. And you don't want to do that. You don't want to feel their stuff, because whatever that person's going through, they done went through, and they chose their walk of life. But you don't want to put that upon your child. You know what I'm saying? Your child, especially if you know your child's a happy child, your child's never been sexually abused, your child's never been mistreated, your child's never been physically abused, there should be no reason why your child's asking about sexuality. It should be no reason for that. There should be no reason why your son comes up to you like, Mommy, am I a girl or a boy? What? Like, you shouldn't even have that conversation with a young child. Like, that shouldn't even be. And if you have a school that's trying to teach them about that at a young age, get them out of that school, because that's not okay. Not okay. There's a lot of public schools that actually are in the poverty area, the hood area, that are doing that to third graders. Okay? And I don't like it. I don't think it's okay. I don't think that they should have people teaching about sexuality, because that's not what the child's mind should be about. Drag queen story time at libraries, I don't think that that's good either, because it's promoting a man in a dress. And it's telling people that it's okay to dress like this. What? Don't expose your child to things that don't make sense to even you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I if you're okay with it, I mean, more power to you, but I'm not okay with that. I'm not okay with my child being exposed to things that don't even make sense to me. Because honestly, I don't know why men want to be women. I don't know why women want to be men. That just doesn't make sense to me. None of that stuff makes sense. I don't care. I understand people go through abuse. I've went through sexual abuse, and you don't see me walking around trying to be a man. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. And, You know, it's not supposed to, because, you know, when you're having sexuality problems, it's a spirit of confusion, which is a demon. And at the end of the day, you don't want that demon being put on your child. You just don't. Keep them pure, keep them holy, and keep them, like, just keep them innocent. You know what I'm saying? And if they do ask you about their sexuality, you just tell them, listen, you're a boy, or listen, you're a girl, and you can tell by your private parts, period. God made you that way when you were in my womb. You're meant to be that way. Don't change yourself because of other people. You want to teach your children to be a leader and not a follower. That is key in raising any child, but especially autistic children, because they tend to get a little bit more confused about the world than other children do. They don't have the same understanding. And you want to make sure that, like when my son started wearing shoes, I said, absolutely not. You're a boy. I said, those are mommy's shoes. Nai is a girl. Nai can walk around and play dress up. You play dress up in daddy's clothes, not mommy's clothes. But he's looking at me funny because he sees, like, homosexuals doing it. I can't change. All I could do was get that out of my house. Keep that away from my son so that he doesn't get confused anymore. And guess what? Once I got all of that stuff away from him, he's my normal child again. He's not trying to wear my girl shoes anymore. You know what I'm saying? He's being a boy. He's playing with his boy toys instead of trying to play with Barbies and stuff like that. He has a sense of playing with a baby doll only because I'm pregnant. And it seems like he wants to help mommy with the baby. So we do practice that. But I think little boys playing with baby dolls are not unlikely, because at the end of the day, you can teach them at a young age how to be responsible for someone. So that is okay. But Barbie dolls are a little bit different. That's too feminine for them. I don't think they should be doing that. But to have, like, your son and your daughter, like, nurture a baby, that's natural. I think that's natural for parents to let their children, or, you know, to endure that. It is a girl thing, but it can be a boy thing too. Because my son will come up with the little baby doll like, oh, my baby, my baby. And I'm like, are you going to dress the baby? So I teach him responsibility that way, because I would like him to help. He's the oldest. And even with him being autistic, he is the oldest of my children. And I want him to be able to help with his brother and help with his sister. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a little bit harder on him than I am on my daughter, because he's the oldest, and because he's my oldest boy. He's my firstborn boy. So I need to toughen him up, and I need to show him that just because you're autistic doesn't mean this world's going to be any nicer to you. You got to be tough. You got to be secure on yourself. You got to make sure, and I tell you right now, my son washes himself. He lotions himself. He dresses himself. He puts on his sneakers every day. He makes sure he puts on his coat and his book bag, and he's out the door. He brushes his own teeth, because I instilled that in him. And I did not baby him. I said, listen, Iris, you're getting too big for me to do everything. And I taught him how to wipe himself. Me and his father taught him how to pee. We potty trained him. And I made sure I stayed on him every day, because with autistic children, everything is repetitive. Everything is repetitive. You do not want to, like, get them out of their routine. Get a routine for them, so that when they get older, they'll follow that routine even as an adult. The goal is to teach your child how to be independent, so that when they get older, they don't need some kind of home care aide or CNA coming in their house, telling them what to do and manipulating them. You don't want that, because these CNAs and these home care aides nowadays, they don't give a damn about your son or your daughter. They don't. And they will come in and they will try to manipulate. And these people coming from all different walks of life. You want to prove that your son and your daughter can take care of themselves, period. So, thanks, guys. I really hope that was helpful. If you need anything else, or if you have any other questions, you can comment below. I'm more than willing to help you. And I definitely do have a lot of other YouTube videos that I can send to you that can back things up of what I'm saying. And it can help you be able to raise your child in a very sufficient way. All right, shalom, guys. Have a good one. Bye.